I never imagined a single moment could shatter the walls I built to protect myself. That night, when I opened his door, I saw something I wasn't meant to see. And from that moment on, nothing between us was ever the same. I used to believe silence was the safest place to hide. Silence doesn't question you, doesn't judge you, doesn't remind you of what you've lost. But that was before Daniel came to live with us, my husband's son from his first marriage. He was 19, polite, distant, and quiet in the way that only people who have seen too much too early can be. When he moved into our home, I told myself I would just be kind, supportive, and nothing more. But life has a cruel way of turning the simple into the complicated. My husband, Mark, was a man constantly buried in work. He traveled often, conferences, business trips, endless phone calls. I'd grown used to eating dinner alone, my laughter echoing against the walls with no one to hear it. So when Daniel moved in, the house finally felt alive again. At first, it was small things. A plate left on the table, his shoes by the door, the sound of footsteps upstairs when I was reading. I didn't realize how much I had missed the sound of another heartbeat in the house. He would sit with me sometimes on quiet evenings, watching TV, his focus shifting from the screen to the silence between us. I'd ask him about school, about his mother, about his dreams. He didn't talk much, but when he did, his words felt like he was trying to find meaning in a world that had already disappointed him. He once told me, "Sometimes it feels like I don't belong anywhere." And I remember replying softly, "You belong here. You always will." I meant it as kindness. But maybe kindness, in moments of loneliness, can become something else, something that blurs the lines between comfort and connection. It happened one evening. Mark had left for another business trip. The rain outside was heavy, tapping against the windows like restless fingers. I made dinner for two, not because I was hungry, but because I couldn't stand the emptiness. "Come in," I said when Daniel appeared in the doorway, his hair wet from the rain. "I made something special just for you." He smiled, a small, shy smile, and took the seat across from me. We talked about nothing and everything. About food, music, what it means to miss someone you never really knew. There was an ease in that conversation, the kind that makes time dissolve unnoticed. After dinner, I began cleaning the kitchen, and that's when I heard it. A faint sound from down the hall. A door half open. I hesitated, unsure whether to ignore it or check. Something in me said I should walk away, but curiosity is a dangerous thing when loneliness lives in your heart. When I pushed his door open, I froze. Daniel didn't see me at first. He was sitting by his desk, his shoulders hunched, his body tense. There was something raw about the moment, something private I wasn't meant to witness. I stepped back, heart racing, guilt and confusion flooding me. He looked up, eyes wide, face pale, and in that single second, the air between us cracked. For days, we avoided each other. Every time I walked into the room, he would leave. Every time he spoke, his voice trembled slightly, as if he was afraid of saying too much. But silence only deepens tension. It doesn't erase it. A week later, I found him in the living room, staring at an old photo of his father and me from our wedding day. He turned to me and said, "You look happy there." I didn't know what to say, because I wasn't sure if I even recognized that woman anymore, the one smiling beside a man who was never really there. That night, I decided to talk to him, to make things right. But when I knocked on his door, his expression said more than words ever could. We didn't talk about what I saw. We talked about pain, about growing up without love, about pretending to be fine. And somewhere in the middle of that conversation, I realized we were both just trying to fill the same emptiness in different ways. From then on, I tried to keep my distance. But the house seemed smaller. Every hallway echoed with the memory of that moment. I began questioning myself. Was it pity I felt for him, or something deeper, something forbidden that shouldn't have existed? One night, I found him sitting outside on the porch. The moonlight made him look older, like the world had already taken too much from him. "Why are you out here?" I asked. He smiled faintly. "Because inside feels heavier than the rain." I sat beside him in silence. There were no words left, only understanding, the kind that doesn't need to be spoken aloud. Mark came home 2 days later. Life returned to normal, at least on the surface. But nothing truly went back to the way it was. Daniel became quieter, spending more time outside. And I began avoiding mirrors because I didn't like the reflections staring back, a woman torn between right and wrong, guilt and compassion. Months passed. He eventually moved out, got his own place, started college. I should have felt relief. Instead, I felt an emptiness deeper than before, a silence that echoed through every room. Sometimes I still replay that night in my mind, not the moment itself, but everything it represented. The loneliness, the misunderstanding, the fragile line between love and guilt. If I could go back, I'd tell myself one thing. Some doors should never be opened, even when your heart aches to step inside. Have you ever faced a moment that tested everything you believed about yourself? Tell me in the comments, because sometimes sharing our silence is the only way to heal. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell for more true stories every week. This is Women's Stories 8, where emotions speak louder than words.